Hi, and welcome. You're listening to the X22 Report. My name is Dave, and this episode 3825 BN. Today's date is January 25th, 2026, and the title of the episode is This is a War Between the American People and the Criminal Syndicate. Hold the line. Wait until you see the whites of their eyes. Let me ask you a question. Do you struggle with tingling, numbness, or painful sensations in your hands or feet? There's new research showing that a tiny seed may hold the key to lasting relief. Backed by 33 years of clinical studies, doctors have found this seed helps restore health, nerve function, relieving pain, numbness, and tingling, while also supporting balanced blood sugar levels. For years, this natural breakthrough was buried by Big Pharma, hidden away to protect their profits, but now a maverick doctor has rediscovered its power, and he's making it available to the public. Imagine what it would feel like to finally walk without pain, sleep without burning or tingling in your feet, and get back the comfort you thought you'd lost. To see exactly how this works, just scan the QR code on your screen or go to myprimal.life/X22. Don't wait. Find out how this tiny seed could help switch off nerve pain starting today, or just click the link in the description. Let's get into the economic collapse, political and geopolitical news. Now, the deep state, the corrupt politicians, big tech fake news, the puppet masters, you can see that over the weekend, they went all out and another individual was shot because this individual was carrying a weapon. By the way, this individual was not carrying his concealed ID, was not carrying his ID. Kind of sounds like Antifa. That's part of their strategy. Do not carry IDs. And this individual decided to obstruct justice. And this individual was shot by an ICE agent. And again, this is what the deep state players are doing because they realize as we approach the midterms, they do not have the cheating system in place. They know they can't win the elections. And with ICE and DHS deporting all the illegals in this country, because remember, it's not just happening in Minneapolis. And actually, look what's happening in Minneapolis. It's not like there's 10,000 people out there stopping the ICE agents. You have a small group of individuals that are trying to create an instance where they can start a civil war in this country. That's what they're really trying to do. Remember, this war is not American people against American people. The war is the American people against the criminal syndicate, against the tyrannical criminal syndicate that took over our country. And yes, you're going to have certain individuals within this structure that have been brainwashed. And you could see that Adam Schiff, Klobuchar, Crockett, the fake news, Waltz, Frey, all of them, they're continually pushing the rhetoric and they want the people, their foot soldiers, to get angry. They want their criminal syndicate to fight against the American people. They want a war. They want a civil war. Like we said from the very, very beginning, what we're witnessing is an information war moving into a physical war. Now, I do believe Trump and the Patriots, they've known this entire agenda for quite a while. They knew that eventually, as their crimes against this country are being exposed, and remember, Minnesota, this is actually very tiny if you really look at it, but as it's being exposed, they need to cover it up. And basically, I do believe what Trump and team are doing right now, they're testing the deep state players. At the same time, the deep state players, they're trying to rally the rest of their people around the country. And hopefully, this is what they're hoping, is that the people of the country go up against the federal government. Now, this is not going to happen. The people are not on their side. The people, they're seeing it very, very differently. Actually, the polls are showing that the people are not on their side. So all they have right now is their insurgency. And they're trying to create a much larger war. Remember, the war has never ended. If everyone thought, oh, we elected President Trump, he was going to come in, everything was going to be great, the deep state players, the tyrannical government that was in place, the criminal syndicate, they were just going to go, okay, you caught us, you know what, arrest us, that's it, thank you very much. No, this is a war. They're going to fight to the very, very end. It's not going to be clean. It's not going to be pretty. There's going to be chaos. It's going to look scary because, again, you're looking at the Second Revolutionary War. We're doing this to take back the country. I think about our founding fathers. What did they do? Well, let me see. The British troops, they sailed over here. because the colonists were trying to negotiate with the British. They wanted their freedoms. They wanted a certain way of life. And the British government at the time, the king, did not want that. The king was like, no, you will do what we say. We still control you. We still rule over you. And the colonists were like, well, let's talk about this. Let's negotiate. Maybe we can come up with a solution. Let's see what we can do. And of course, what did the tyrannical government do at that time? They came with their ships, with their soldiers, and they basically, with a hard fist, they said, absolutely not. What do you see happening today? You see pretty much the same thing. The criminal syndicate, those that used to run the government in D.C., which they don't any longer, they are saying, listen, no. We will keep the country. We will keep everything the way it is. We will fight against you. That's what they're doing. The people of this country say, no, let's talk about this. Let's stop this. Let's not do this. We don't want this to occur. We don't want anything like this. But again, they will not do this because they're criminals. They will fight to the very, very end. And think about what Trump is doing. And when people say, well, we're really not discussing this, we're really not having a dialogue. Yes, Trump says, please stop this. He's giving them multiple warnings. Actually, Pam Bondi wrote a letter to Tim Walz. And remember, Pam Bondi doesn't control DHS. So, yes, she wrote a letter. And this is going to go on record. Each time they're telling them, stop what you're doing. Don't do this. Let's talk about it. Because look, ICE is having operations all across the country. Do you see this happening anywhere else in the country? Yes, you might see little things happening here and there in the sanctuary cities, but where's it mostly focused right now? It's in Minnesota, or actually Minneapolis. Why? Because all their crimes have been exposed. The people see it. The people see exactly what's going on. Tim Walz knows this. Frey knows this. Ellison knows this. The deep state players know this, and they're trying to stop this. And think about it. What else are they doing? They're trying to create these incidences so they could do what? They can make a case of why DHS shouldn't be funded. Because remember, the House, they just passed the funding. It goes to the Senate. So are they going to use this for the shutdown? Absolutely. Does this have to do with the election? Absolutely. Now they're already building the case is that Trump wants to manipulate the election as we approach the midterms. Now they're making the case that that Trump wants to stop the elections from happening. Why do you think all of this is? Think about it. If they had the upper hand in the midterms, they wouldn't be saying all of this. If their cheating system was in place and they knew they were going to win, they wouldn't need to do all this. All you got to do is go back to the time when Trump was running against Clinton. What did they do back then? They said Trump is never going to win. He doesn't have a chance. The polls are against him. They had their cheating system in place. And during the 2016 election, who had the popular vote? Clinton did. She won by 3 million votes. Yes, those were illegals, but their cheating system worked. She won. But they never counted on the Electoral College. And the Electoral College voted for Trump. And they were shocked. They didn't know what happened. But if you notice, during that period of time, they didn't have to have riots. They didn't have to have COVID. They didn't have to have a cyber attack. They didn't have to have any of these things. They didn't have to have an insurrection because they believed their cheating system would work. Now, think about 2020. They knew that the people were with Trump. They knew that the cheating system that they had in place wasn't going to be enough. They needed to ramp it up. So what did they do? They released COVID on the people, and they made it like it was deadly. Everyone was going to die, which wasn't the case. So they issued and they brought in mail-in ballots. Yes, they were using this before, but they had to take it and they had to basically expand it to a point where it was completely obvious that they were cheating because this is the only way they were able to do it. And they had to have an insurrection against the sitting president. Now, during that period of time, Trump allowed this. He allowed them to install a puppet government because he needed to wake the people up. He needed the people to see. In 2024, what happened? They couldn't cheat. They knew it. they were screwed. They couldn't do it. They didn't have anything in place, really. And basically, we were able to override the cheating system. They didn't have COVID anymore. And now we're approaching the midterms. And this is one of their last battles that they're going to have. And they know that if they can't win the midterms, they're done for. So if they actually had control and they knew they were going to be able to cheat and win in the midterms, they wouldn't be doing all of this. The reason why they're doing all of this is because they realize everything that Harmeet Dillon has done, the executive orders that Trump has put out, the Supreme Court ruling that it's one-day voting, you can't accept mail-in ballots after that date, gives the GOP, the Republicans, Trump administration, you guessed it, the right to sue now, which they'll win because of the Supreme Court ruling. They realize that there's no way they're going to be able to win the election at all unless they keep the illegals in place, unless they have the ability to cheat, unless they stop Trump from deporting. It's the only chance they have. And even with that, they won't be able to do it. And this is why they're trying to put a lot of pressure on the Trump administration. This is why you hear them calling out that he's going to try to stop the election. Because again, when you have chaos across the country, not just in Minneapolis, when you have the insurgency, the domestic terrorists, the foot soldiers creating havoc across the country in all the sanctuary cities, it might even spread to other places. But again, like in Florida, they're already letting everyone know, you try to do this, what you're doing in Minneapolis, it's not going to work. The local police are on it. You see, it's very, very different in the other states. But when you see it across the country, the people are going to finally say enough is enough. You see, Trump is allowing this all to play out once again so that people see the true nature and the true criminality of the deep state players. And as people see more and more of the crimes that they've committed, the treason they have committed, well, this is going to wake a lot of people up. And it's already starting to wake a lot of people up. The polls are against the Ds. The polls are against the deep state players. The people are not with them whatsoever. And Trump is allowing all of this to play out because it builds the counterinsurgency. It builds the counterinsurgency to the point where the people say, this needs to stop. And the people are going to actually tell Trump, we need to change all this. Just like the people told Trump in the 2024 election, we need to deport these people. We need to close the borders. We need to lower the fuel prices. We need to put the economy back on track. We need to end the wars across the globe. And this is exactly what Trump has done. So now we're on the other part of it. And like we said from the very, very beginning, is they're fighting, and I'm talking about the deep state players, they're fighting to make sure that they don't lose the midterms. As of right now, they don't have a chance. They know it. So they rather have the elections delayed because of chaos than actually have the elections. Think about that for a second. Of course, they want to blame it on Trump. But in the end, this is not going to work. And remember, this is why I do believe Trump and his administration said, hold the line, trust the plan. And we mentioned this before. In the first revolution, they said, wait until you see the whites of their eyes. Because again, you had a highly trained military force that was coming at you. So why shoot at a long distance? Wait until they're up close. That gives you a better chance. Trump is waiting. I'm not saying he's going to have a firing squad. He's waiting for the enemy to do what? To pull out all the Antifa people, to pull out all the illegals, to pull out all the criminals and have them riot in each and every one of these cities. Because what does that do? It puts their entire foot soldiers right in front of Trump's forces. And once you see the white of their eyes when they're up close, that's when you go in and you arrest them. And it won't be one or two people or three people that will be battling these people. It will be the National Guard. It will be military. And this will be cleaned up very, very quickly. Now, along the way, yes, it's going to look scary. People are going to scratch their heads. They're going to be worried. What's going on here? But you have to remember what this is all about. Those people that have known about this for a long time, this is not for you. You see, your expectations are, I know about this. Let's just arrest them. Let's do it. This is for the rest of the country. The rest of the country that is still not on board. The rest of the country that must see it. The rest of the country that must say enough is enough. So what you're seeing, because you've been studying this, you've been listening to this, you've been maybe researching it on your own or whatnot. Yes, you want it to be over, but this part of it is not really for you. Maybe you could tell other people, but it's for the rest of the country. It's for your brothers, your sisters, your cousins, your uncles, your aunts, your grandparents, you name it. It's those people that aren't truly on board with you or on board with what's really going on. They're the ones who must see it. They're the ones who must say enough is enough. And when Trump has that, that's when he's going to call the ball. That's what we're witnessing today. So yes, we're in a war. The war hasn't ended. The deep state players are trying to move it from an information war to a physical war. And they'll keep pushing. And as we get closer and closer to the midterms, it's going to look scarier and scarier and scarier. And people are going to be looking at this going, what the hell's going on here? But yes, Trump knows that he's leading them down this path. He knows exactly what needs to be done because, again, he already set everything up. He already put every single piece into place to make sure that the counterinsurgency, the military, the presidency is able to go after these people and clean it all up in one foul swoop. But again, as we approach that point in time, it will look scary. Now, we'll be talking a lot more about this a little bit later. But first, let's talk about